Today, I'm going to give you all of my top best builds in the game that are solo DPS. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and release all 10 of mine. I actually have a little bit of more, but maybe I'll save it down later down the road. All right, but before we get into the video, I wanted to say, guys, I am sorry that Division Heartland got canceled. I feel bad. A lot of people may not know this yet, but yes, Division Heartland is canceled. So right now we only have Division 2 and probably Resurgence and Division 3. But moving forward, let's go ahead and break down the top 10 builds that all have meta pieces, so they are very hard to counter. All right, let's go ahead and break them down. First up, we have my AR solo DPS build. Now, this deep specialization can be used for team play in the dark zone. Also, it can be used for solo play in the dark zone. PvE can be done with this build as well, but is mainly a PvP build for those who are looking for it. Now, this is a meta build, okay? All these pieces on this build is meta pieces. Now, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the shield splinter. We got shield splinter with damage target out of cover, and then its talent is perfect optimist, right? Then we're gonna go with the Ouroboros. We got damage target out of cover, and obviously it has its talent as well. We're gonna go ahead and go with the TDI card for the pistol because it gives you +1 skill tier, and also we have sledgehammer on it. Okay, this gives us additional damage if we can land a damage with our grenade, okay, with it out, right? Then we're gonna go ahead and talk about the catharsis. We are using the catharsis because it comes with its talent. Its talent gives you extra damage, and also as you're taking damage you get more damage, so it's very useful, and it removes all status effects once it's triggered. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and talk about the Matador. Yes, this is a DZ exclusive. Remember what I'm saying to you guys. This is a DZ exclusive. You can get it through name caches, but is mainly for the DZ. Then you want to go ahead and talk about perfect. Adrenaline rush is its talent. Then we're gonna go with double crit and then critical hit damage for its mod. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and talk about the main piece here, which is the Fenris chest piece. This gives you 10% assault rifle. Then we're going with double crit chance, and then unbreakable for our talent. And unbreakable is a meta talent, okay, especially for the dark zone or any PvP match. Then we're gonna go ahead and talk about the Seska. Seska gives you 10% critical hit chance, and we're gonna roll armor on it with double crit, and because it gives you 10% critical hit chance, right? Then we're gonna go ahead and talk about the Grupo knee pad. All right, this gives you 15% critical hit damage. We rolled armor on it with double crit. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and talk about the Picaro's. Picaro's holster gives you critical hit damage. We give it and then we're going with weapon damage and armor, and it gives you 10% skill haste. Okay, then on top of that we're gonna run the Defender drone, and on top of that we're running the EMP sticky. All right, build number 2. This provides the most DPS that I have currently. This is my solo DPS build for PvE and PvP. All right, we're gonna go ahead talk about the Ouroboros, the shield splinter, and the TDI card. We already broke those down, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next. Now we're gonna go ahead and talk about the 3-piece strikers. Why do we have 3 pieces? Is because we have the Ninja Bike backpack, right? These have critical hit damage on them and critical hit chance. Oh wait, sorry, this has both double critical hit damage, and then we have weapon damage on this one. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and talk about the Ninja Bike bag. So what I was talking about with this Ninja Bike bag, it gives you a +1 slot for your gear pieces or brand sets, right? So for example, as we have 3, it gives us +1 to make it 4 pieces, and then triggers the Striker's Gamble talent. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and talk about the Sokolov chest piece. This gives us 10% SMG damage and 15% critical hit damage. Then we're going to go talk about that we have critical hit damage and critical chance with a critical chance mod. And then we're going to have unbreakable for our talent as well on this build. We're finishing off with the Picaro's holster. We already broke this down, and this is what we have for the Picaro's holster. Then we're going to run the decoy, and once again the EMP sticky. All right, this is build number 3, so we're mainly focusing on the SMG, but this is for team play as well. A solo player looking for team members in the dark zone. Okay, this is when you get picked up or finding people around the dark zone and you want to group up with them. This is the perfect build for that team play, but it is very good for solo players, especially because it provides a lot of DPS around the Ouroboros. And we're going to go ahead and break this down. Now we have the specialization, obviously survivalist, because what I said, when you provide med kits, it provides med kits for everybody around you in close range that is on your team. So we're going to go with the Ouroboros, shield splinter, the TDI card. Then we're going with Catharsis again, Matador, Sokolov, Seska gloves, Picaro's holster, and Grupo knee pads. These all have the same attributes and armor pieces that I mentioned before, but this time we have a change. We're going with the jammer pulse. Okay, this what this does is jams all the status effects under tier 6, so you won't have any status effects on you, etc, etc. And we're going with the Crusader shield instead of the striker shield because we're not running the firewall specialization, we're running the survivalist specialization. So Crusader shield works just as well. Okay, moving on. Hazard protection. Oh, hazard protection. This is build number 4. All right, we're going to go ahead and break this down. We're going with the survivalist specialization again, Ouroboros again, shield splinter again, PDI card, pistol once again. These are top in their class, guys, except for yeah, this is top in this class if it's non-exotic for the AR. So this is top for the non-exotic ARs. So Ouroboros, shield splinter, and then this is top for the +1 skill, so we like to use the T at that card. Then we're going to go ahead and break down what did change. Okay, we're going with the Seska mask. This gives you 10% critical hit chance, 10% hazard protection. Okay, we're rolling armor on it, and then we have hazard protection, critical hit damage, and burn resistance for this one. You do get burned a lot, remember, because even you are using burn, especially in PvP, especially, right? Because this is the flame grenade, so you do get burned too. Not you getting the burn, but some people will like to throw this at you because, once again, guys, this is meta pieces, so other people are using this, especially in the dark zone. So we want to go with the burn resistance just to be safe. This gives us 90% burn resistance, so you could possibly get burned still, but it won't last as long as you think because we have 90%. Then we're going to go with the Grupo backpack. Once again, it's rolled with armor, hazard protection, and we're going with shock resistance. A lot of people like to still use the St. Elmo, and it provides shock rounds. So you want to go ahead and run the shock resistance, which also gives you 90%. And the same reason applies for the burn resistance. Then we're going with critical hit chance on it, and then this gives us adrenaline rush as well, but it's not perfectly adrenaline rush like the Matador, but we still get the adrenaline rush, so we get a decent amount. Okay, that was broken down. Then it goes with the critical hit damage 15%, like what we explained before with the knee pads. Going with the Seska chest piece again, still same thing, but here we go. This is a different glove. We're going with the Yaw gear. Okay, this gives us 10% hazard protection. Then we're going to roll armor on it, hazard protection, and critical hit damage on it. Okay, then we're going with the Picaro's holster again, once again, and as well as the Seska knee pads this time, critical hit damage or critical hit chance with hazard protection. 2 pieces gives us hazard protection. That's why we have 2 of those. Then we're going to roll hazard protection on this, critical hit damage, and armor. Oh, I meant to tell you, we switched up this one as well. Picaro's holster has hazard protection on it as well. Okay, then we're going with the jammer to pulse other people who have status effects to also make it feel like we're invincible. Then we're going with the burn sticky as well because we don't get burned that much, so we should burn everybody else and make them irritated. Okay, especially with the flame grenade in combination. All right, this is build number 5, one of my strongest close range builds in the game. All right, we're going with the double shotgun. Now we're going to run the technician specialization this time. What the technician specialization does for you, it gives you a linked laser pointer. What that means is anytime you aim with the linked laser pointer attached to your weapon, it automatically pulses the enemy. So let's go ahead and break down our first weapon. We're going with the custom M870, all right, and then it gives us damage to armor, and then we rolled it to damage to target out of cover. Then we're going to break it down to its talent. Flatline amplifies weapon damage by 15% to pulse enemies. So you see how that works well with the specialization. Then we're going to do the same thing for this one here, the military M870, when same thing, same attributes, and also the same talent. Okay, then we're going to break down the TDI card. We already did that, but this time we switched up our mask. Again, we're running the Coyote's mask for extra damage, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and critical hit chance with weapon damage. This also gives you strong critical hit damage numbers and strong critical hit chance, or high critical hit chance, depending on the range you are from the enemy with this talent. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and talk about, we have the Matador again, once again, and we have 0 Fs. Okay, 0 F gives you 10% shotgun damage, gives you armor, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and critical hit chance. Again, perfectly unbreakable on top of it. When your armor is depleted, you repair 100% of your armor, okay, this time. So we have perfectly unbreakable. Then we're going to break down, once again, we have Seska gloves, Grupo knee pads again, and then Picaro's holster again. But this time we have the Defender drone, which gives us extra shield, extra protection, especially when enemies are close. So this is a very good very good skill to use. Then we're going with the EMP sticky as well. Here we are, build number 6. This is all red build, which means high DPS, high damage, but low survivability if you are taking a lot of shots. So keep in mind, this is high damage though. All right, we're going with the technician again. Once again, remember the link laser pointer. So we're using flatline with the LMG. Yes, I just said it. We're using LMG this time. LMG with black market RPK 74E. With damage to target out of cover and damage to armor on it, with flatline as I explained before. Ouroboros once again because it's the highest DPS in the game for a weapon. TDI card again, a Coyote's mask again, but we are using the regular Walker Harrison Co backpack. All right, not the Matador this time, but also we're using the talent Vigilance, increased total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables this buff, so if you take damage you lose the 25%. We're going with critical hit damage, critical hit chance, critical hit damage again on this one. All right, this time we are using the Sokolov chest piece, yes, for the Ouroboros, but also it has the talent Obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacks up to 25 times, which means you can get a maximum of 25% damage. Then we're going with the Contractor's gloves this time. Now we're talking about multiplicative damage. Okay, we got the 8% damage to armor. That's why it's gold. Okay, it's multiplicative damage, critical hit chance, and weapon damage on this. Okay, and also the main reason for this is because of the 10% LMG damage, which we are using an LMG. Then we're going with the Seska, 10% critical hit chance. I already explained that before, but we're using the holster this time. Okay, critical hit damage and critical hit chance. Then we're finishing off with the Fox's Prayer. Once again, we have damage to target out of cover. It's gold, so it means it's multiplicative damage at 8%. Critical hit damage on it, weapon damage as well. Then we're finishing off with the Scanner Pulse, just so we can get a good sight of where we are, like people around us or enemies around us, because we want to know who's around us, especially when we barely have any armor. Then we're going to go with the Decoy, actually to take a little bit of damage off of us and to run around and hide. A lot of people use this to like shoot people in the back in the dark zone because it's real toxic. It's because it's really easy to kill people with this build, okay, because it's high damage, but also it is easy for you to die too. Keep that in mind. All right, build number 7. Yes, we have switched it up this time, but this is for raids. Okay, now as a solo player, you're not going to be solo because you need players in order to do a raid. But for yourself, like if communicate, whatever, if you do random matchmaking, this will save you from getting kicked. I promise you, as long as you know how to actually like fight. But anyways, all right, we're going to break it down. The specialization has changed to firewall. Okay, we're going to break down why we have firewall in a second when we go to the skills, but we're going to go ahead and talk about the Ouroboros. We have the Ouroboros, but here it is. This is my favorite weapon in the game. Yes, I have switched it up from the FAMAS. This is my favorite weapon in the game. Why? Because I believe it has the best accuracy in the game. Yes, over the Eagle Barrel. This has the best accuracy in my entire playthrough I have seen. You don't believe me? Test out the Carbine 7, especially with 25 expertise, and then see if it's not a laser beam. I promise you, you'll be like, dang, this is some crazy accuracy. Why I have this for a raid build is because I can beam at any enemy's weak point from a long distance. This has insane range and accuracy with that range. The fall off is very minimal. But let's go ahead and break down what we have on it. Health damage and damage to target out of cover with Optimist. Weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo is missing, okay? Then we're going with the TDI card again. 3-piece strikers, ninja bike, Sokolov, Picaro's holster. Sokolov is for the Ouroboros. Okay, then I'm going with our skill, the Reviver Hive. Why do we have the Reviver Hive? When we get put down, knocked down, this will pick us back up. Okay, well, this cooldown is really long, so you try not to die. Okay, but this will help you get picked back up, especially when people in the raid are doing too many different things and they're not around you. This will help you. And also, if you're not communicating and you're doing random matchmaking for raids, this will also prevent you from getting kicked. This entire build will prevent you from getting kicked. Okay, as long as you don't mess around and goof around. Okay, then why do we have the firewall specialization? The striker shield. The striker shield allows you to use additional mods. It has mods specific to the specialization. For example, the 8% shield health. Okay, so you have more shield health, and you got the active regeneration, which I'm not sure why that mod is not on here, but let's go ahead and do it right here together. You see, we have active 8% active regeneration. I don't know why it won't let me select it for some odd reason, but you guys see it and you should be able to select it. Okay, so that is why we have this build put together for raids. All right, here we are, build number 8. This is considered the most annoying build in PvE and in PvP, Dark Zone especially, and Conflict. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and break down why this is annoying. It is completely status effect based. We're going to go ahead and talk about a specialization. We already did. It is the survivor specialization, and we're using the flame damage grenade for the status effect purpose. Iron Lung. Now here we go with the Iron Lung. It's just like the same ammo with the shock rounds. Iron Lung provides flame rounds. When the meter is full, rounds shot by the weapon ignite enemies, so it causes them to be on fire. So we have damage to target or cover and damage to armor on it. Then we're going with the shotgun. We got Optimist this time instead of Flatline. Optimist, you remember, 3% for every 10% armor ammo is missing. Damage to armor and damage to target out of cover on this. Then we're going with the TDI card once again. Then we're going this time with the Umbra Mask. It gives us 2 pieces because of the Ninja Bike bag. Critical hit chance is what we're going for, 15%. Then we got critical hit damage and critical hit chance on this, okay, with armor. And then the Ninja Bike bag, as I said before. But here it is. Here's what's going to make it even annoying. We have ongoing directive, 4 pieces because of the Ninja Bike bag. Shooting a status affected enemy, which we do already shoot status effects already, so it will mark it. I will mark the enemy. Killing a marked enemy grants a full clip of hollow point ammo. Hollow point ammo amplifies weapon damage by 20% and applies bleed on hits. So not only are we doing flame damage, we're also doing bleed damage. Increases hollow point ammo weapon damage amplification to 35% for its talent. My gosh, we're just adding on more damage on top of it. Then we're going to go with the Contractor's Glove. Gives us 10% LMG damage, 15% weapon handling because of the Ninja Bike bag, so we get that additional money. Then we're going with 8% for damage to armor for the multiplicative damage on top of this. Okay, so that's why we have 3 pieces of this, right? Then we're going with the Stinger Hive for additional annoying status effects. Okay, this also applies bleed damage as well, so we're just going crazy with the bleed. Then we're going with the EMP just in case somebody else tries to be crazy with their status effect. We can go ahead and jam them. Build number 9. This is our PvE only build for solo players. Now we're going with the Gunner specialization. With the Gunner specialization, every time you get a kill, it increases your RPM. All right, your gun's rate per minute. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about the Ouroboros. So it increases our RPM for our Ouroboros when we get killed, so our Ouroboros is just melting even more and quicker. Okay, once again, I'm using the Carbine 7 because I love to hit weak points from a long distance, so we got to get that accuracy going. Once again, we're running Optimus on it as well. Then we're going with the TDI card for the Sledgehammer, of course. Then we're going with the 4-piece strikers this time. We're going 4-piece strikers this time, as well as using the chest piece, which increases max stacks from a striker's gamble from 100 to 200. Okay, then we're going with the Memento backpack. A lot of people know that this is top for an exotic backpack. right? We're going with the weapon damage, armor, and skill tier. Just like the ninja bike, it gives you all 3 cores. But not only that, its talent is insane, okay? Enemies you kill drop a trophy on death. Collecting trophies provides both a short and long-term buff, the first of which scales with the number of core attributes equipped and lasts 10 seconds. 5 for weapon damage, 10 for bonus armor, and 5 for skill efficiency. For every trophy collected, gain an additional 1% weapon damage, 1% skill efficiency, and 0.1% armor regeneration for 300 seconds. Maximum 30 stacks, guys. So not only do you get armor, weapon damage, and skill, you also increase your weapon damage and regeneration every time you pick up a trophy. It's insane how good this exotic backpack is, especially for PvE. Okay, then we're going with the Picaro's holster to finish it off, and we're going with the jammer as well, and we're going with the Crusader shield. All right, our final build number 10. This is for legendary difficulty. Okay, I would like to run the double AR for the legendary difficulty. Okay, if you guys haven't seen my legendary solo difficulty completion video, go ahead and look back into my videos, or wait until the end of this video and you'll be able to see it on the end screen. But we're going to go ahead and break this down quickly. The technician, we already talked about the technician specialization for the linked laser pointer, but we're going with the Kingbreaker. Why are we using the Kingbreaker? Because it gives us perfect flatline. Amplifies our, instead of 15, we're going 20% to pulse enemies, okay, for the damage. Then we're going again with the Eagle Bearer, the exotic Eagle Bearer for the AR with health damage and damage to target. I have cover on it. What this does is accuracy increases as you continuously fire up to 30%. Headshots grant the tenacity buff for 15 seconds. The strength of tenacity is increased by 1% for body shots and 5% for headshots. What does tenacity do? 40 to 80% of the damage taken is delayed until the buff expires. All of the total delayed damage is reduced for each enemy killed while the buff is active, up to 100% with 3 kills. Okay, so basically you're getting your damage delayed. If you can kill people fast enough in legendary, you'll get it reduced. Okay, then we're going with Sledgehammer again for the TDI card. I pretty much won't change that on any of my builds. Then we're going with 3-piece striker again with Fenris chest piece and Picaro's, but now these have different attributes except for the ninja bike and the strikers. Okay, here we're going with this one. We're going with protection from elite mods. Okay, I think I actually did put this on my ninja bike. Yes, we're going with protection from elite mods on this one and this one. All right, we got regular mods on the rest. Okay, critical hit chance, and then like I said, the striker set, right? But this time we're going with repair skills. Why do we have repair skills? I'm going to explain here. We're going with the artificial hive. You cannot have the artificial hive without the technician specialization. What does the artificial hive do? It sends out micro electro booster drones that expend themselves to increase allied skills efficiency and refresh their duration. But what this does is refresh your shield. So when you have your shield up and it's like taking a lot of damage, the artificer can refresh it, so you can basically have the shield up for a longer time. Okay, so that's why we have that, and it can complete through legendary solo. Okay, so this is a good legendary build for solo players. All right, that's all top of my 10 builds. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like and hit that subscribe button and watch all my videos coming up on the end screen, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.